So we had a question from our YouTube chat, Ray Alexander. He asked if I believe that professional athletes should focus more on brains than arm candy. So here's the thing. I believe that when you obtain that type of wealth, right? Of course, it's smart to go for the smart girl, but are you concerned with a woman having the same amount of money as you when you have that much money? Is that something that you are seeking? Is that something that you care about? Is that something that you are looking to utilize? You got to think about their age and where their priorities are at that time. I think, you're going to want to date different people. You're going to have access to different types of women. So, while in theory, do I believe that they should go for some different types of women? I won't just say smarter. I'm not going to say that every girl that gets surgery and is on Instagram doesn't have the smarts to do anything else. But what I will say is one, what kind of time do women have? I talk about this in my book. Athletes have a certain time period. They are done for the day with practice and all of that by 1 or 2 o'clock. They go in, they hit it, they have their weight schedules. They may stay a little bit after, but they're done, right? This goes for both. I'm going to speak on NBA and NFL because that's what I'm most familiar with, right? They're done by like 2 o'clock. Tuesdays, NFL players off work. They have that day off, right? NBA, it's a little different. They are looking for, in that time period, women that are available. You don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you, if you talk to an athlete, they will tell you who is available at 2 in the afternoon. Women that don't have regular jobs, right? Women that don't have the responsibility. Who can get up and get on a plane at a moment's notice to go and hang out for the weekend or meet a player in, hey, we're going to be in Houston this weekend. Why don't you and your girl fly down? Or why don't I fly you guys out? Do you know, if you have a job, you got to report in. You may have time off, but how long is that going to work? Right? So again, they lead a certain type of lifestyle. Let's say they get into a relationship with a girl that is a student, right? Or she has a good job. And then they're traded midway through the season. Well, then their significant other has a choice to make. She is going to either give up her career, her position in school to go follow and support her man, or she is going to stay and take care of herself and be responsible for herself. But it's hard to match those two things. And let's say you guys work that long distance thing for a while. At some point, somebody might be a little fatigued of the situation. And it makes it something that is hard to maintain for an extended period of time. So, again, sounds good in theory, not saying that it doesn't happen or that it can't work, but there are just a certain obstacles that can block you getting with the ordinary CMO of a company when you are actively playing, because how do you have the time? How do your schedules match up? And who's going to give up what in order for the other one's career to flourish in that manner? Ray also brings up NFL QB Jalen Hurt, aka 90s Fine. He has a black woman agent, Nicole Lynch. Shout out to Nicole Lynch. She merged her company with Rich Paul's Clutch Sports. She's an attorney and she negotiated $255 million contract with the Philadelphia Eagles for him. Yes, her agency is Clutch Sports. I'm familiar with Nicole. I mean, you look at Shalita Irving, who is Kyrie Irving's stepmom. She negotiated his contract. There are I'm I am not denying that there are not black women that are qualified that can get in and help these young athletes guide their situations. If you look at someone like Aaron Donald, his wife used to work for an NFL team, I believe. I believe also Giannis Antetokounmpo, his wife. Well, I think that she's just his fiance, not just his fiance. I'm not saying it in that way. I believe his fiance also used to work in sports and athletics in some form or fashion. So there are women that do so, but it just, you are put in a position as a woman of a professional athlete. At some point, you are going to have to make a choice in some form or fashion between your career and his, just based off of the way that it moves. Maybe not everyone, but that's what I've seen in general. Kendi says you're supposed to marry someone for love, not because they can balance your checkbook. Other than that, just marry a QuickBooks app. Valid point. Valid point. I think what he is saying is not just to look at one superficial trait, whether it's, oh, she's bad, I like her, let me give her more of my time. I think that he is saying to also add in some, those soft skills that can get you through life, like balancing a checkbook. Or Antoine Walker was on the show a couple of weeks ago. One of the things that he shared, I don't know if he shared it on air, but we had in a conversation, was that it would be dumb things like his cell phone getting turned off. He always kept two cell phones just because he was always traveling, and the woman that he was with at the time didn't necessarily step up or offer to pay the bills. Do you know what I'm saying? That's something so small, something insignificant. You don't need to be a rocket science to do that. You just need to take initiative and see what's going on. At the same time, there are a lot of women that have taken that role, been the household manager, and get cheated on and left and not married, and have devoted all of this time and effort and not worked on building themselves up, and then they get left, and then you see them bitter on the internet spewing and showing old text messages. So I don't know, it's a toss up. You got to choose, you got to figure it out. Ray Alexander also says, I'd marry for both love and business. Ideally, that's what you want. Someone that, if that's what you're looking for, because this is the thing, you are looking for balance in a relationship, whatever that looks like for you. If you are weak in one area, maybe your mate will be strong in that same area, and you two will fit together and be able to support together. But I think that it is unrealistic to think that you should not take those things into dating to a certain degree. Not wholly. Obviously, we are too focused in some areas on finance when we have the conversations about $200 dates and who should pay all of the bills and whatever. You got to get with someone who you like and what works for you. But I think that it is a fairy tale, unrealistic to not think about how finances and someone's job and that aspect of their life can impact your relationship. Your relationship, who you choose to get involved with, is one of the most important decisions that you're going to make. Are you guys on the same path? Do you want the same things? What does the future look like? 2, 5, 10 years down the line, where do you want to be and how do you want to get there? You have to ask those questions. It can't just be like we're lit and we look good on Instagram together, right? So I think that we all want to marry for love and we want a fairy tale, but I mean, love doesn't pay the bills. Love is not sustaining in all aspects of life. So, those are just my thoughts. I'm not married, so take that with a grain of salt. It's just what I've seen, what I believe in.